Hi. So finally got off my work. It's about I don't know what time is it. It's 8 p.m. or so, and I went shopping. Yay! But anyway, this video is about implant stations. I think I want to talk about my personal stuff because I'm like doing a little update of what my life is all about. But yeah, if you wonder, this is all the chocolate that I threw out. I had a few cookies and a Reese and their stuff, and that is changed with lots of nice little fruits. So I'm thinking a good change. But let's come back to our original subject. I'm doing like lots of sessions with people lately, and I just keep finding like lots of amazing stuff. And it seems like with every dive I do, like there's so much more to learn and like sort of expand my point of view, like how consciousness is being used to create a soul trap, and not to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna create a soul trap, but literally like a little uh, clay or gum is being expanded and like like expands and shrinks, expands and shrinks. They use technology and becomes a wrap, and now it's a thing. Later, that's probably a separate video and so on. But implant stations, yeah. I worked with a person who had a few lifetimes here on Earth. First, she was working on other planets, helping out a lot of beings, being a healer while like learning lots of different technologies, and being like a doctor in like different stations where like it's sort of like you can imagine a planet like this huge facility. They have like a Stargate or uh, in the corner, and a lot of beings are being transported, and they can be injured in certain ways. They can like they might have lost limbs, or they might have sort of wounds from all wars and stuff. They might have sort of spiritual sort of like like traumas or different things. And here comes tons of little patients. They have their own thing, and this girl would basically be a doctor and help them out in lots of different ways. So a lot of these beings were trying to, get better, but there were a few from the dark side who mess with a person's mind and all of a sudden program a person to go here on Earth, and a lot of beings need help here on Earth. So she ends up like from a wonderful world in fourth dimension, she goes here in the physical and ends up being in the world. And she's born at the time of the Inquisition. She's what they would call a witch, but at the time she was more like a healer, helping people out with like energy work. And she was able to channel information, like have connection to the other ETs, and like like learn their ways of qigong or qigong and different sort of techniques of how to move energy, how to use that sort of what we would call magic, but actually like just use nature and our abilities to manifest crazy stuff. Like like we have Joe Dispenza today, where he like shows people how to use their mind to cure or like help out people with their illness. But like literally, I think like now it's they're using the word cure, where they're literally no need for stem cells or different things, but they literally like sort of kill the tumor, kill cancer. People who have been sitting in a wheelchair for 25 years stand up in a seminar. It's crazy stuff going on, and Joe Dispenza has like he knows his stuff. So back in the day of the Inquisition, this girl used those techniques, and she was helping out a lot of people. And after she died, she like okay, it's in between life's area. She's like, okay, what to do now? Like she's sort of free and like wandering around. And here's this like cube, like in you have space. There is no light, no other things, but more like you see galaxies, you see stars, you see different things. You're in the sort of void or in space, like oh, like nice. And like point of view, no body or anything. And this point of view, that being like her, she sees this like cubicle box and everything, like like what's that? And so she gets close, and she enters that cubicle box. It's like sort of driven by curiosity, like what is this? So she wants to learn. She gets in this place, and there's like tons of these like artifacts, like little like I don't know, like walls, and what you would call like like you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs, if that's how it's said in English. And all lots like they have lots of these like alien languages, and seems like these sort of ancient teachings about like what the life is all about, different technologies, different races. And she like looks at these artifacts, and there's like so many of them, and the information is like really valid, and like whoa, you wouldn't find it like in every single realm that you go to. So that was like sort of really high tech. So she was exploring the whole like sort of seemed like our library. And the facility is like huge. It's like you could combine like I think 3 to 4 Earths together to sort of build a whole facility. Like that would be the size. And like room after room after room is like you are in the library, and there's like lots of these books around and everything else. You should basically be walking or like sort of flying around as a point of view and accessing these sort of artifacts, looking into the different technologies and different things. And she's learning a lot. And she comes to the point like, oh, like there's this sort of gate, and a person like sort of it's like similar to the Muslim countries, but it has the hat, the sort of robing, and you can only see the eyes, and they sort of have this specific like clothing, or of course like sort of like a mask or anything else. And they're saying like, like, hey, you just need to like, behind this door, there's so much more of these books, and it's just like having this like sometimes you might look like in a desert or where it's really hot, and you see the air moving because of the heat and everything else. So she was like sort of seeing through that sort of door, or like it's like a doorway without the door to open, but more like empty little space, and you can see behind it, and it's like a view. But the view there was sort of holographic. That's what she did not knew about the time. And she goes through like, like, yeah, I want to learn more, let me in. And that was sort of like making an agreement, like, yes, let me in. And so she steps through, and she goes through that shield, and boom, she is in another dimension, like between space and time. She's not in that construct anymore. It's more like, like, it seemed like a big facility, but it's like they have a whole separate thing or reality inside. So like, like the outer outer levels where you can like be and like learn was one thing, but then she enters the structure, and boom, it's like ending up in a machine, having the sort of getting a body, so to speak, and being sort of immobilized. So basically, like, you cannot trap the consciousness or point of view unless the point of view assumes it, like, sort of starts identifying with the body. Like, I am this experience. I am the consciousness identifies with the physical body, and from the being everything, it drops itself to I am the body. I am the personality. There comes that I am, so that ego thing. So because of that, like, consciousness starts going from knowing everything to assuming one certain role and being that sort of little thing. That's a whole different subject in itself. But while the consciousness is being trapped in sort of, let's say, a body, the dark forces can enter like your Akashic records, so they can look into the consciousness and what the consciousness has experienced throughout its existence. All of your lives, everything that you did, all of your memories, all of the actions, all of your thoughts, everything. And by being able to access that, they look into like everything that you did and stuff. And with that, there's some crazy stuff going on. So basically, this like this soul trap, or like not really soul trap, but more like implant station, which like I will tell you more about, is a huge facility. And not only they access your Akashic records, that facility also works like a black market for the multiverse. As in, those beings trap powerful beings who enter there. Now they have their agreement, so boom, you agree, you weren't really aware. It's like too good to be true. Like in Lithuania, we have a saying: measure 9 times and cut on the 10th one. You know, like, okay, this is the 10th time I measured, this I'm gonna cut. So you make sure that you have it all right. And so some beings like, like, okay, I'm just gonna like file in like or get the file or report something, and they check, okay, got this check, this is right, this is right, this is right, and they forget to check the last one. Or like, like, this is, yeah, everything, you got everything right, and there's the last step, and you think you got it right, but you didn't, and you messed up somewhere. So it's basically that step where you just sort of are not aware of absolutely everything, and that's where you go in, and people make that agreement, and that's where they trap them, so they get lots of information at first. It's like a sandwich where the outer stuff is like the best, but the middle stuff is like, yeah, maybe. So anyway, beings get trapped, and that whole place works like a black market for the multiverse. So whoever trapped those beings are the sellers, or like, like they're gonna raise the auction. Okay, we trapped this powerful being. They access all of your records, in, like from the Akashic records. They have your archives and seeing like, okay, this is what the being can do. They're like creators. They like create so many planets. This is what what they achieved, what they did in their lifetime, and now they're being offered like, okay, who's gonna buy this sort of being? And out there in the multiverse, a lot of beings are trading in a different ways. They don't have currency. There is no like gold or money or cash system. No, but I mean like gold, yeah, but like cash, you cannot like sort of give like them like, okay, here's $50,000 or whatever. Not like that. So they would much rather like get the plasma out of the physical body like a human, get the gold, get the blood, like get the body parts, get the whole body and like use it for rapes or like experiments and different things, like use your DNA. Tons of different things. So now that they have their history of a person, of like what kind of being it is they're selling, a lot of parties show up. and they're like, reptilians and Anunnaki and Greys and like machines and AI and sentient beings and a lot of different races. And they're like, okay, we're interested in this being, we can use it. So they sort of buy a being by like, okay, we're gonna give you 5 planets and 50,000 people, like of Grace, 50,000 spaceships or whatever. But they like literally sort of more like a military stuff, like where they give their area, like like planets, realms, different things that they have, their spaceships, their like fleets, their soldiers, different things, like they sell their stuff, or more like, we're gonna do a mission for you, we're gonna kill a lot of people for you, we're gonna program, we're gonna get more, whatever deal they can make. So these are like usually things that they offer instead of like currency. So they don't like they don't give money, but they give planets and different things and resources and materials, like rocks and like like all kinds of minerals and stuff like that. So they get access to the body, but you're still in the facility, you're still locked up. So once you've been bought, the party that bought you comes into place, and now they can start programming you. Okay, you're gonna be sent to Earth. They see all your acts, like your records, all that you love doing, who you really are, and now they can start putting the fake memories where you are a great being, but you end up being like a implanted with fake memories of your life, and you truly lived that. You like like you have the memory, like like I lived it, but it's fake. So like your life becomes fake, your memories of who you really were becomes fake. And a lot of times that's where they start programming us about like not being good enough, about like doing bad things, limiting other people, and of course like doing bad things. We all lived in a place where we did everything. We did the good stuff, we did bad stuff, we helped someone, we killed someone. Like there is no duality, there's just experience. It's like playing a video game. You connect, you kill a bunch of people, and you're like, that was like interesting, and you just disconnect. No pain, no remorse, no anything. It was just fun. Same in out of body when you're free and everything else. um, and over here, they can start implanting you fake memories and like start putting triggers. Like maybe you're not good at communicating. You cannot do this. Your energy is then stopped. People are gonna suck out your energy, and they keep programming you a lot. They give you phrases, emotions, feeling states, all kinds of like sort of frozen in time intentions, different things. And now they're like, boom, they get you on nerve. You're born, you're living your life. A lot of things can happen. They can arrange people in your life, as in like set up people who are gonna enter your life and mess with you. Some people can be raped. I know we talk about like soul contracts and what people agree to, but a lot of those times, those soul contracts are basically made like in between lives area, where people are like dark forces are programming beings, and that's where they create agreements for us. And we don't know we have it. And now all of a sudden, we're unsuccessful, we have a hard time, we have limited energy, there's so much stuff going on, and we're like, why is it so hard for me? Like, I don't know, what the hell? And like, you look at their life, like accessing people's like records like that, and seeing their implants, it's crazy. It's crazy what's been done to them, like how like all these disorders that they have, for example, like not these disorders, but more like all the issues that they have, like being able to hear voices is great because people have the ability to actually access more, and they're intuitive, empathic, and they have like simply more open channels. It's like being a radio station and you open up a channel to just like normal people level, but then you can shift it into being open to communicate with our entities, with our ETs, with our beings. So you open up your channels, and some beings have their channels sort of cracked up to where a lot of beings can talk to you, and you're not crazy. It's literally like having a bully in your house. You're not crazy for seeing a bully, for hearing the bully, for being messed with. You're not crazy. Your issue is like, okay, you have a problem, how do you get it out? So how do you get that bully, being an entity messing with you, out of your house, out of your place? So that's the whole thing. And lots of different other subjects. It's not just entities. It's more like like people can have talking disorders where like they have lesser memories. They have like all kinds of body like issues and aches and different things. Lots of triggers. And so seeing that when I'm accessing these implant stations and being access to see what they've done, and then doing the whole thing, like sort of either traveling back in time or like canceling everything, removing any connections, like not allowing them to be sold and stuff. And then like you talk to people like whoa, they get the thing of consciousness is that we have lived for so long and we experienced a lot of stuff. Like what we watch in movies just probably happened a lot of times, and like we can just like sort of resonate with it. So when you hear these crazy stories that I talk about, and other like lots of great people talk about, like Rich, Laud Leon, Eve Lorgan, I don't know, like David Icke, like Wilcock, and like tons of people that have great information. There's so many of them. And anyway, you hear these stories, and the thing with consciousness is that you probably experienced that, so you can resonate with what is truth by how you feel about it. You can listen to me and like, yeah, Kula, it doesn't resonate with me. You're full of bullshit. Nah, I'm not going for it, and that's totally fine. But some people can listen to me, and they might not agree to me, but deep inside, you sort of like, yeah, I catch you. Like, there's this, what I'm talking about, you can sort of get it and feel the sort of like familiarity, like, yo, yeah, I know about this stuff. And that's the thing about consciousness. It experiences so much that when you hear a story, you resonate with it. You probably have lived it in the past life. You might not recall it yet. You like I might tell you the story of what happened in your past, and you might not have the full memory, but if you resonate with it, something clicks. And it's like, how do you remove a soul contract agreement? What it takes is being simply aware of it. Like, like, oh, okay, having limitations, maybe having fear of darkness, having like a hard time communicating, having like issues in life, or like sort of relationship issues, different things, and then you start looking deeper into the details. But the thing is, like, once you become aware of the problem, aware of the thing that causes all the issues, it stops, because awareness is what like you like it's like having like every agreement is like a cockroach, and you're shining a beam of light, and they're like sort of burning, or like sort of like running around, like, or like run away, like they can't handle that. So it's like awareness is that light, and you just like shine it on the some sort of issue or subject that you look at, and boom, like sort of like that issue dissipates because you are aware of it now, and since you have the awareness, it stops affecting your life. So like being able to recall these instances where people have been in the implant stations, knowing what they have, like how they have been messed with, what they experienced in the past lives, you really can see like how people like resonate with it, and then they have all these things in their life. Like all of a sudden they are able to, like a matrix, like plug out, and they're not in the system anymore, and they're free from that. And all of a sudden it's like turning tables around, and their whole like life that was really harsh turns around, and they become like free, liberated. So yeah, it's just like one of these structures. There's tons of these implant stations, I believe. It's just like one of the recent one that I found, which seems like interesting, sort of like being trapped, or sort of they're trying to get people by giving you good stuff, like like, hey, here's a tease, here's a hook, we're gonna give you lots of good information. It's a library, you can learn, you can get a lot of good stuff, and it's easy to fall for it. Like, it seems all innocent, like like lots of good information, it's free, all this stuff, and you come in, and then you get trapped, and there's this like a black market where like beings are literally selling you, accessing your Akashic records and different things. And there's nothing new there really, because a lot of this sort of happens in the My Lab and 20 and back and stuff. And I'm learning tons of stuff in my sessions that I'm giving, like asking people stuff. It's amazing, and I thought like I'll share it with you, because you might resonate with it. You might resonate, like, like, hey, this happened to me, I know it, like it did, or whatever. So like, hey, if you know about any implant stations, or how beings are being programmed, because like, like all these hearing voices, having phrases, repetitive happens to you, like repetitive things happening to you in life, certain feeling states, all these triggers in life, patterns in your life, like it's might be a program. And like having sort of like, oh, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Sometimes they literally implant the fake purpose, fake goal, and you're chasing it your whole life, feeling like like I'm going for it, but I'm not feeling a win. Like and you're basically running in a track that has no end. So just putting it out there. I thought about like I'm learning lots of different good stuff, and thought I'll share it. So yeah, I'll wrap this video and go cook dinner and stuff. So thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support and everything, and I'll see you next time. Bye.